It has started out.
Notre Dame and Rutgers jumping in the Big East. Todd Billett, 40% from three-point range entering the game. My man would raise his average. Player had scored just a combined 28 points his last 3 games. In this one, Billett was a skillet, frying Notre Dame. The freshman, 10 of 16 from the field, 8 of 12 from the land of 3. Don't hate the player, hate the game. He scored 20 points in the first half, a career-high 31 for the game. Rutgers rolls 76-51. Irish sophomore Troy Murphy returned to his home state of New Jersey, but he only had 18 points. He was booed every time he touched the ball, and he fouled out with $1:28 to go. Irish held to a season-low point total of 51, probably because Rutgers opened the game on a thick 32-9 run.
One by one, the Jets are putting the pieces back in place.
This Sunday, the RAC will be rocking. A big rivalry game between the Scarlet Knights and the Villanova Wildcats. Today, we'll preview the game and review the past week. Hi, everyone. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome to the Kevin Bannon Show. It was an emotional roller coaster for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. First of all, they took on West Virginia, erased an 18-point deficit, but still lost to the Mountaineers by 2. And then they take on a red-hot Notre Dame ball club and Troy Murphy, the leading scorer in the conference, and they blow him out of the building. Coach, explain the logic to me.
What logic? I coach basketball for a living. It's January with a young team in the Big East. I wish I could explain it. All I could say is the good sign is that our young guys learned. We came in at halftime after probably our worst half against West Virginia. We responded. We put ourselves in a position to tie that game at the buzzer. Unfortunately, got away. 48 hours later, we play our best game of the year with a terrific win over Notre Dame. And so, you know, you got to like the kids for at least they bounce back.
Let's pick up the highlights of the Rutgers-Notre Dame ball game here at the RAC on Tuesday night. And the Scarlet Knights, as Kevin mentioned, came roaring out of the gate. Mentally, you were ready.
Yeah, we thought starting this game was real important. They're a team that runs their offense real well, and we didn't want them to get in any kind of rhythm.
When you jump out to a 4-0 lead, an 11-0 lead, do you just sense the confidence?
Absolutely, and I think, you know, with a young team, it goes right through the team, so it was just good for the kids to make some shots early, and I think the defensive stops and getting Troy to miss a few shots early in the game really helped our confidence as well.
The night really belonged to a guy named Todd Billett, who had 20 first-half points.
It was good to see him break out. I mean, he's so unselfish that he never puts himself in that position, and we really, in our pregame, really talked about the fact that we thought Todd would have a lot of opportunities in this game, and he had to be aggressive. He always wants to get everyone else involved, but get yourself involved as well.
And I thought defensively, forcing them to miss their first 7, you guys were really on a roll.
Well, that's what we had to do because I've seen Troy Murphy guarded a variety of ways, and he always finds a way to make you pay. And I think not only did Rashad Kent do a nice job on him, but the other kids stepped up as well on the other players.
Some more Billett from downtown in the first half. He was unconscious.
Yeah, he really was. I mean, he felt it. And what a rhythm. They were all, you know, bottom of the net. And I think our other kids got really excited by that.
Billett behind the arc, nothing but net, 32-16 at the break. Coach, they couldn't get any offense going.
No, I would say, when we sat there at halftime, I said, guys, you got to keep the pressure on. This is a team that could score points. You know, Troy goes up to Connecticut and gets 33 and 16. He averages a double-double, so you're going to have to play 2 halves tonight, fellas.
Salvi and Ken, I thought, were 2 of the outstanding defenders.
Yeah, because, you know, you have to be physical, but you can't foul the heck out of them. I think over the course of the night, we used 14 fouls on Troy, and I think it really helped us.
Well, Jeff Greer got into the act a little bit, burying a 3 of his own, but it was really just a Billett evening. He finishes with 31 points in the game.
Great floor game for us. There was nothing missing, and there's Lou Flores finishing one at the rim. The bench played well. It was great, I think our best effort so far this year.
Billett nailing another one. He ended up 10 for 16 from the field, 8 for 12 from downtown. And here's Mike Thompson getting into the act. He had 10 points.
Yeah, Mike showed some good plays off the bench. It's good to see. He's been struggling with his confidence, and, you know, having him out there smiling is a good sign for us.
So the Scarlet Knights shoot 13 of 22 from downtown. They win the battle on the boards. They hold Murphy to 18 points, and they come away with a 25-point win. All right, Coach, I hate to do this to you, but we've got to go back now to Saturday and the ball game against West Virginia at the RAC. And you came out of the gate pretty good here, 5-0 before you knew it.
Yeah, definitely. And then I just think once they got into a little bit of a rhythm and they made some shots, I just, for whatever reason, we went through one of probably our worst stretch of the season, a good 10, 12 minutes where we were completely out of it.
It was a 19-2 run by the Mountaineers. Calvin Bowman, who finished with 14, was a part of it, and so was Marcus Gurry.
Yeah, their inside players were very active, and I think one of the biggest differences, was the number of second shot opportunities. We gave up 20 offensive rebounds, which, you just can't do in this league.
You're down by 18, but you find a way to get back into it in the first half.
Well, that was a good sign. I think toward the last 5 minutes of the half, we went to some trapping defenses, got them to turn the ball over a little bit, and I thought we went in at halftime feeling a little bit better about ourselves.
Kent with a double-double, 10 and 10. Greer with 15 points. Suddenly, Rutgers had cut the lead to 42-34.
Yeah, I mean, when we came out in the second half, it was important to see which way this game was going to go, and I thought our kids responded really well.
And in the second half, Greer hits a three-point bucket. Rutgers charging back, pulling within one, and then tying the game.
Yeah, it was right there for us. And I think, a lot of times it's a cliche. We burned so much energy getting to that point. I just think that we missed some shots, quite frankly. I mean, we did take too many threes, but we had wide open looks in the last 5 minutes, and none of them went down. And you'll see, a couple easy baskets. They go down, we win this game.
All right, Rutgers down by 1. Kent goes in for the slam, and you're back and forth here down the stretch. Very much in the ball game. A tough shot here by Gurry. 59-58 West Virginia, and then Rutgers goes to Dante Jones.
Yeah, I mean, 2 tough shots. They made a tough one. We made a tough one. It was that kind of night. And this is just a heartbreaker. Rashad takes a charge there, no call. Ball comes off, and he just throws up a little fadeaway. And a very difficult situation for us. I thought we got 2 good looks here. Todd off the dribble here gets a little reverse layup, rolls out. Dante, I think, probably, concerned with how much time was left, just tried to tip it. Could have gone up and almost dunked it in. But hey, it was that night. It was that kind of night for us.
So it was right there, Rutgers with 2 opportunities to tie, but the Mountaineers come away with the W, 62-60. Rutgers just 22% for three-point land in this game, and they finished the game on a 43-27 run, but it wasn't enough. A look at some of the outstanding performers from the past week, and we mentioned the play of Billett.
Definitely. Everything about Todd right now is positive. He's playing high energy, shooting the ball well, getting everybody else involved, making his free throws, playing at a real high level.
Jeff Greer, as usual, just solid numbers. Dante Jones against West Virginia with 18 points. What about Rashad Kent when he plays well? I think you're usually in the game.
When we have an inside presence with Rashad and company, I think that just takes us to a whole nother level. And he just had a great game. Both games, he played very solid basketball.
And this guy, Eugene Dabney, might have had his best game of the year against Notre Dame.
Well, that's a key. If we can get, double-digit rebounding from our 5 spot, that makes us takes us up a whole nother level.
Coming up next, a preview of the Wildcats and the Red Storm.
Looks like a fake dribble. No, the hesitation gives him the angle. And the old...
Oh, sure. When you make your first couple shots, defenses adjust, and we had to, try to get Todd open against both zone and man against a very good Notre Dame basketball team. Here you see us just kind of moving it around, trying to probe the zone, and if you don't throw it in, you're not going to get it out, and that's really what we did there. We found a way to throw it in the paint, which freed up Todd. The zone had to move.
All right, let's break it down further, Coach.
Well, we just try to get into some gaps in the zone. Notre Dame's been playing with a lot of confidence with this 2-3 zone, and it keeps Murphy out of foul trouble. So, we're moving it around. You see Rashad Kent going baseline to baseline there, and Eugene Dabney in the high post, and they're doing a good job. They're adjusting and they're talking, and we're having a hard time getting anything on the outside. So right here you need to either drive the basketball or throw it inside. And it all starts with Rashad putting a little body on Troy Murphy, which opens up an area for Gene Dabney to flash. And when Eugene flashes in, Dante is going to get him the ball. The zone's going to collapse, and then we're going to get Todd Billett a free shot. So right here, because of the space that Rashad created, now Eugene can slash in there. Jeff Greer finds him. Todd Billett spots up, which is very important. Now they have to worry about whether he's going to go down to Rashad, and Todd spots up. And it's a long time coming, but that's because they're good at their zone and they have a lot of confidence.
You have to have a lot of patience to go through that.
Yeah, I think sometimes, if you just fire away, bombs away against zones, you're going to find yourself in trouble. I thought our guys probed it, and Todd had the hot hand, and we wanted him to get the shot.
And you know you did a good job on offense because Notre Dame loves to play zone, and you actually got them to play man a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, that was important. They probably didn't prepare very much for our man sets because they have so much confidence in their 2-3 zone. So that was a very important point in the game.
Up next, the Villanova Wildcats here at the rack, and they've been playing well lately. They've won 5 of their last 7. They did lose a heartbreaker to Miami, 67-66. Steve Lapis, the coach of Villanova, and they come in with a couple of experienced guys, including Malik Allen.
Well, Malik's one of the best low-post scorers in this league, one of the most improved players in the league, and, you know, we're going to have to do a great job on him. He lit us up last year in our second game versus Villanova.
He's averaging 14.7 points and 7.2 rebounds. What about Brian Lynch, the Belmar, New Jersey native?
Well, Brian's, you know, looking to have a great senior year. He can really shoot the ball, great quickness, and I think when he's on, that's a real key to Villanova.
32 threes this season. Gary Buchanan, freshman guard out of St. Thomas More.
This kid's really stepped up. He wasn't a real highly recruited kid, but that happens sometimes. This is a guy that's really stepped in, has great poise. He's shooting the ball well, putting it on the floor, and he's been a big addition for them.
6'10 sophomore Brooks Sales, 16 blocks.
Yeah, he's a guy that's coming on. He was a highly regarded guy, but with big guys it takes time, and he's very skilled, can block shots, and he's another key to their team. I think as he gets better, they're going to get better.
And up next, the Red Storm of St. John's at the Garden. Should be a dandy. Rutgers against St. John's on Tuesday at 7:30. Mike Jarvis, the coach of the Storm.
Doing a great job with this year's team. I think people weren't expecting them to be quite as good, but every single kid has stepped up. Great team quickness led by Barkley. A very tough mindset team, you know, come out and really play it, make you turn it over. And I think they're playing at a higher level than anybody imagined this year.
Eric Barkley, 17.5 points per ball game, 52 assists, only 33 turnovers, an All-America candidate. Up front, LeVar Postel can play guard, can play number 3.
He's one of my favorite guys in the league because he's like positionless. He's improved his outside game. Go inside and guard somebody, rebounds the ball, pushes the ball. I just love the kid. He reminds me a lot of a Ricky Greer for Pitt.
Postel over 1,000 points for his career. Bootsy Thornton's been struggling a little bit, but he scored 40 against Duke last year. You never know when he's going to light it up.
No, absolutely not. He's an offensive machine, and you know he's another one of those guys who can play a couple positions but can really score the basketball.
This guy's improved, Reggie Jesse.
Yeah, I think he's been really the difference. I'm not sure people expected him to have the kind of year he's having. A lot of emotion, like most of their kids. Plays hard, and I think they all feed off him.
It's out of Bishop Loughlin, really coming on, 10.5 points, 6.3 rebounds. It is time for Kevin's Keys, which are brought to you by and One Apparel. Let's begin, first of all, with the ball game against Villanova.
Yeah, I think with Villanova, we got to do a good job on Malik. Malik's one of the best low-post scorers in the league, you know. And then the next thing we have to do is handle their change in defense. They'll throw a lot of different things at you. Have good composure. And then the last thing is just keep that ball pressure on their perimeter guys because they have a nice group of perimeter players.
St. John's is a tough challenge, Coach.
Yeah, because the first thing you think about is aggressive. If you're not going to go out there and go to war, you're not beating St. John's. So get out there and go to war. Next thing would be same thing. They're changing defense. Great job with a couple sets that they run. And the last thing would just be keeping them off the glass. For not a big team, they really rebound the basketball well.
And they're just very dangerous because they can beat you from the outside. They can beat you from the inside now with Glover.
Yep, and I think they can beat you in a fast game. They can beat you in a slow game. Tough basketball team, and on the road, it's never easy.
Our special guest is Renardo Brown when we come back.
Hey, beer mime. Coors Light. Are you scared?
Show. In the ball game against Providence, Renardo Brown came off the bench. He scored 10 points in 15 minutes, and he joins us now in the program. Renardo, you starting to feel more comfortable with everything?
Yeah, I've been feeling more comfortable. You know, Coach Bannon has given me the opportunity, you know, be the backup point guard. And when I got in the game, I just wanted to try to come out and give us a positive lift off the bench and just try to, you know, be a high-energy guy and just play hard.
You've come from Mott Community College. You're a junior, your first year in the Big East. What do you think so far?
Well, the Big East is, you know, it's one of the great conferences that we have in our country, and, you know, it's a lot of great athletes and great players in this conference, and, you know, you just have to be ready each day in and day out, or, you know, a lot of teams in this league are capable of beating you, so you have to be ready.
Well, this guy's come in here and given us a boost of energy. When we recruited him, we thought he'd be a perfect guy because he can penetrate and he gives great ball pressure, and we really needed that. And it's taken him a little while to get comfortable, but now he looks like his old self, and he's smiling a lot more, and he seems like he's really enjoying competing, and as a result, he's been much more productive on the court.
Renato, at the point, you look like you have a pretty good feel for it, and Coach seems to look for you in that regard.
Yeah, I've been feeling a lot more comfortable at the point than I was earlier in the season. I just had to be a better listener, you know, listen to what the coaches were telling me. You know, he puts me in a position to where he wants me to get better in practice, and, you know, I try to work hard at it, listen, you know, try to apply those things that they're telling me on the basketball court and just play more relaxed and confident.
Here's a look at Renato's numbers from last year at Mott Community College. He went to Southwestern Academy High School in Flint, Michigan. Then he went on to Mott Community College and did a little bit of everything. And Renato, speaking of Flint, you've got Glenn Wright, you've got Andre Rison. You know, that's always been a hotbed for quality sports, basketball and football.
Yeah, we produce a lot of talent coming out of Flint. We're not that big of a city, but, you know, a lot of guys were just blessed with good talent and try to utilize it and go off to college and just do something positive with themselves. And, you know, it's very competitive with the great athletes that come out of Flint, and, you know, just a lot of good players.
The way you say it now is very nice diplomatically. How come when we get on bus rides, this argument, we can't get on the New Jersey Turnpike without this whole Flint versus New York versus New Jersey thing going on?
I just try to, you know,
defend your turf.
Yeah, I try to defend, you know, players that come out of Flint. You know, I'm pretty good friends with a lot of them, so I just try to back them up. You know, they talk about New York athletes. Nothing against New York athletes or nothing like that, but I just try to be loyal to, you know, Flint and just try to represent them.
Renato, in the media guide, so many guys talk about their heroes, guys like Jordan, you know, might be a guy like Kobe Bryant. And you talk about your parents saying, because they taught me everything in life, and I've learned so much from them. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, my parents, they taught me nothing comes easy. You always have to work hard, you know, for what you want to achieve in life. And, you know, my parents weren't the wealthiest parents, but, you know, they raised me to know that if I work hard, you know, I will be rewarded with something in life.
Sounds very nice, and we wish you the best of luck and continued success to you, Renato. I know you'll get some more minutes after appearing on the show.
Let's hope.
Okay. That's Renato Brown. All right, right now it's time for our Dunk of the Week, our Monster Slam of the Week, and it's brought to you by MonsterSlam.com, your online superstore for Rutgers merchandise. Coach, let's go back to the West Virginia Bowl game.
Here's a little play here for Dante Jones coming off a back pick. We caught him sleeping a little bit against the zone, and Jeff Greer made a real nice pass to Dante.
Ooh, I like the hops there. That's the MonsterSlam.com Slam of the Week, and hopefully Renato will be involved in a slam somewhere down the line, Coach. What do you think?
He would be the passer, not the receiver.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll go around the Big East when we return. Looks like it's going to be a good year in the Big East. Syracuse right now, top 6 in the nation. UConn, always tough. I'll tell you, this is going to be a very tough place to win on the road. Time right now to go around the Big East Conference, and it's brought to you by New Jersey Transit. Saturday, Villanova was at home against BC. Malik Allen scored 15 points, and Brian Lynch tossed in 12 as the Wildcats prevailed. BC tightened the contest, but Brooke Sales had 2 key buckets in the final 2 minutes, and Nova earned their first conference win. Sunday, LeVar Postel had 23 points and 7 boards to lead St. John's over number 4 UConn in Stores. The Red Storm built a double-digit lead in the second half, but the Huskies battled back behind 18 points and 16 boards from Jake Voskuhl. With St. John's ahead 71-69, just over 2 minutes remaining, Eric Barkley nailed a huge 3 to help seal the Huskies' fate and lift the Red Storm to the win. Monday, controversy surrounded the Miami Nova game. As time ran down, Johnny Hemsley launched a desperation 3 at the buzzer, and it went in. Villanova coaches and players thought it came after the buzzer, and the replays on TV seemed to concur. But the only votes that counted were that of the officials, and Tim Higgins ruled the basket was good, leaving the Canes jubilant and the Wildcats stunned. Tuesday, BC and the Hoyas went down to the wire as well. Kenny Walls hit a clutch three-pointer with 43 seconds left to get BC to within one. With 17 seconds left and Georgetown up 3, Anthony Perry fouled Troy Bell from behind the arc. Bell hit all 3 and tied the game. Kevin Braswell hit a tough 3 with 1.4 seconds left to give the Hoyas the win. I'll tell you, these games are fast and furious. Coach, take a breath. Don't get tired. Don't get upset. You weren't in those games.
It just gets crazier and crazier, and I think it's a tribute to the great job that people are doing with their programs. There are so many good young players and so many good coaches and so many programs on the rise, and you're seeing it in these games. It's, if you're a Big East fan, you couldn't ask for anything better. All
right, it's time for the Scarlet Spotlight right now with the Retro Man, Joel Salvi of Rutgers. And it's brought to you by the Rutgers Court Club.
I'm Joel Salvi, 6'7", senior, Rutgers University, power forward.
Got Salvi with them on the break. Salvi, the finish.
I bonded with Coach Bannon as soon as I came in on campus, and just the kind of people they are. Not just coaches, but more of a friendship type thing. My parents really liked it here, and playing in the Big East definitely means a whole lot to me because my parents can get up and see a few games, and I just love it here, and it's just it's a great situation for me. I don't know, I play a few video games here and there, listen to a lot of rap, a lot of hip-hop. Just going out pretty much just hanging around with my friends, just pretty much all regular college student things. I don't know, it would have to be probably chicken, just like chicken wings or something, just because of the fact that that's all I grew up on. My mom and dad used to always just fry chicken, and that's pretty much all I really love eating. Favorite music group is probably Mobb Deep, the rap group, and favorite song is Quiet Storm by Mobb Deep. Everyone has their little preconceived notion on Coach Bannon, but like I said before, when I came up here and when I met with him on my recruiting visit, he came at me as more of a friend than a coach, and that's what really brought me here, and that gives me a lot of respect for him, just because of the fact that he wants a friend-friend relationship before a player-coach relationship, and that means a lot to me.
You know, he's having a pretty good year, and he's just a great guy.
He really is. I mean, if every college student took the approach that Joel takes to life, they'd be pretty happy. He's going to be able to write his ticket as soon as he gets a haircut.
Some final thoughts on the Kevin Bannon Show coming up in a moment. Two games for the Scarlet Knights this week, and Coach, it just seems that you've got to get out of the gate. You've got to be sharp early, that you're not good enough to just go out there and say, hey, we're ready to play, we're here.
No, we're not, and not too many teams in the league are. I mean, this week's a great example. You've got one at home, one on the road, two of our regional rivals, Villanova, St. John's. You better be ready to play.
And when you look at your team in terms of three-point shooting, when you're making those threes, Coach, you look like you're in the ball game.
Yeah, that could be good and that could be bad. You need a nice little balance of some inside play with those threes. Then we can play with anybody.
Coach, good luck this week.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right, that's it for the Kevin Bannon Show. See you next week, everybody.
Winners today off to the Super Bowl, and Rutgers' Dante Jones put on a show against Villanova. You could say it was a work of art. Next.
A week from now,
And you know, another team that's looking super right now is the Rutgers basketball team, picking up steam in Big East play today, taking it to Villanova. The Wildcats' hopes for a win at the rack were flatly rejected. And Villanova, hey, look at the great hustle to get to the basketball here. But why'd you throw it over there? The highly effective 2-on-none. Dante Jones, what a game he had, and we love the sign. That is a keeper there. And then Dante on the move, he'll dish it to Joel Salvi. Looked like RU would blow the Wildcats out. But Nova's got two New Jerseyans on their team, and they're both excellent players. Medford's Malik Allen was big, and here Belmar's Brian Lynch put it in. Nova got within 3 early in the second half, but RU answered immediately. Dante Jones becoming a star in this league. RU got the lead back to 10, and then an exclamation point courtesy of Joel Salvi. Oh, that's big time there. Rutgers would pull away, and then the clincher, 23 points for Dante Jones. The outlet here, and Dante, that is how you do it. 73-60, Rutgers over Villanova.
I think defensively I was back a little bit. I was more intense on defense, and I think I handled the job that I was supposed to tonight for my team, which was keep Brian Lynch to a minimum and just play hard.
Dante really looked like his old self, and I mean, I think there was a stretch there in the second half where he put the team on his back a little bit, and that's something that I think, you know, he has done and he will do. And it was good to see him do that for that stretch.
I think we're feeling good about ourselves right now. I mean, we did what we wanted to do at home. I mean, we got some victories at home against teams that we can't afford to lose to, and we're heading into a game against St. John's with a lot of confidence.
Our goal coming to this homestand was 3 out of 4, and we accomplished that goal. And now we're going on the road for the next 3, and we're just gonna have to prepare for St. John's on Tuesday now.
I think right now, like, the prescription for these guys is to just work their butts off and try to just play well, take it one game. I mean, just keep working and see where it takes us. Well, the Knights go to 3-2 in the Big East. That's the first time they've been over 500 this season in conference play. And we'll have more on RU tonight on the Jersey Sports Final. And also our sit-down interview with former New Jersey Net Sean Bradley, now playing with the Dallas Mavericks. That's tonight at 10:35.
Scarlet Knights, Jeff Greer over to Joel Salvi. Up and under for the rip. He had 13, and then Salvi going to get the rebound out to Todd Billett to Jones. He had 23. Rutgers goes on to win 73-60. Andy, the Scarlet Knights have now won 3 of their last 4. They're starting to play some.
Yeah, Rutgers came up with a big win earlier in the week against Notre Dame, but what a week for Villanova. It starts with that Miami game that they should have won. They counted the basket that they shouldn't have, and now they get drilled by 13 against Rutgers. Not a good week for the Wildcats at 10-6. They got to start winning if they want to think making the tournament.
Nova shot just 1 of 13 from 3-point range.
And the rack was rocking in Piscataway. Scarlet Knights hosting Steve Lapis and the Villanova Wildcats off the steal. The kick ahead to Dante Jones, and he knows what to do with it. Jam time. He had a game-high 23. Joel Salvi chipped in 13. None prettier than this one. Reverse hammer time plus the foul. That's so pretty. We'll take another look at it. Oh, that's nice. Steve Lapis has seen enough. Rutgers hammers Villanova 73-60. Finally tonight,
doing his thing. Pretty stuff there as RU pushed the lead back to 10, and then an exclamation point courtesy of Mr. Salvi. Look at him on the baseline. That is big time there. Rutgers would pull away, and they got the clincher. 23 points for Dante Jones. On the outlet, he's leading the pack for the tough stuff. 73-60, Rutgers over Villanova today. So RU is now 3-2 in the Big East Conference. They're picking up steam, and News 12's Joey Waller has more.
Is this Rutgers basketball team better than last year's? The Scarlet Knights beat Villanova Sunday 73-60. They're now 11-6 and 3-2 in the Big East. Their same numbers at this point last season. But RU won despite forward Rashad Kent's foul trouble, limiting him to just 2 points in 11 minutes. That's something Rutgers would not have overcome so easily a year ago.
You know, to have Rashad only give us the minutes that he gave us, and have Joel and Eugene, you know, step up is obviously another good sign for us.
Bannon was referring to the play of center Eugene Dabney Sunday. 10 points and 8 boards. Last year, Rutgers did not even have a center to speak of. And forward Joel Salvi provided the kind of numbers against Nova, 13 points, that can help make the difference between middle of the pack or better in the Big East.
We played solid defense on, you know, their great scores. You know, with Brian Lynch and Malik Allen, I think we held them to probably lower than their average.
Our goal coming into this homestand was 3 out of 4, and we accomplished that goal.
For Dante Jones, a freshman up-and-comer last year, is now a sophomore go-to guy, as his 23-point Sunday helped prove.
We pulled together after West Virginia lost, and we all became focused on what we have to do, which is just be a more intense team and be more together.
But whether the Knights believe they're ready to challenge the league's best depends on who you ask.
If there was 3 seniors complimenting the young kids that we had, I think that would be realistic.
What I like is if we come out focused and aggressive and do the things we want to do, I think we can beat anybody in the league. I mean, that goes for anybody in this league.
And so after playing 4 of their first 5 Big East games here at home, now the schedule gets much tougher for Rutgers. Beginning Tuesday at Madison Square Garden against St. John's, it's 3 straight on the road, and then back here at home for Miami and Seton Hall. Right now, 2 of the top teams in the Big East. At the Rutgers Athletic Center, Joey Waller for the Jersey Sports Final.
Rutgers St. John's Tuesday. That's a ball game. RU's going one way. St. Peter's is going.
Basketball, Big East action at the rack this afternoon, and it was Rutgers taking Villanova in that one, 63-60, the final score. We pick up the action in this one as a nice baseline drive there for Rutgers. That was Mr. Greer with the layup, Jeff Greer to you, and more Rutgers action, and a nice drive and lay in there, as it was Rutgers cruising for most of the afternoon. Watch a nice little baseline drive and the 2-hand jam by Joel Salvi right there for the Scarlet Knights, as they just rolled it right out this evening, as they get another look there, and they beat up on the Wildcats of Villanova. Well, after
rack 73-60, first half Rutgers up 13. They forced the turnover, and then here we go the other way. Dante Jones ahead of the field, 2 of his 23. Then second half, Joe Salvi. Great move along the baseline. Reverses for the 2-hand dunk. Rutgers wins by 13. Hofstra, Marist, Manhattan also.
Homestand on a high as they hosted the Villanova Wildcats, leading by 9 at the break. Rutgers opened up in the second half. Check out this move by Joel Salvi. The pretty reverse dunk and the foul. The retro man at 13 points. Then Rutgers executes beautifully on the break. Salvi to Todd Billett to Dante Jones, who finishes the play emphatically. The Scarlet Knights make it 3 out of 4 with a 73-60 victory. And that's a look at the day in sports.
Villanova at Rutgers, where they're kicking the ball all over the place. Here come the Scarlet Knights. It's Dante Jones jamming. Rutgers up 15. Steve Lapis not happy. It gets worse, Steve. Joel Salvi for the jam. Joel Salvi? Nova falls 73-60. And yeah, that look from Lapis says it all.
This year, the Scarlet Knights have used the friendly confines of the rack to their advantage. But now Rutgers goes on the road. 1 win, almost another. Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome to the Kevin Bannon Show. The Scarlet Knights of Rutgers scored a victory this past week over the Villanova Wildcats, and they almost stole another against the Red Storm of St. John's, but it was not to be. And Coach Bannon, I have a couple of phrases here for you. Would've, could've, should've.
Yeah, we finished the homestand on a real positive note with a quality win over Villanova. But unfortunately, we started this little road trip on a negative note. Real tough loss to St. John's. We had a chance to get a real good win there and got away from us at the end.
All right, let's go back to the ball game at Madison Square Garden. Rutgers taking on the Red Storm. Always tough at home. And this was just a very good basketball game. But early on, I thought it was sloppy.
Yeah, well, I think both teams played pretty good defense. That has something to do with it. We missed shots early and we went after each other hard. But I love the way we started. We thought that was important because they're coming off 2 losses. We're playing in the Garden, and I thought we really got off to a nice start.
You seem to be getting off to good starts almost every game.
Yeah, well, I think our kids are ready to play, and it's a matter with a young team of keeping it going, getting 40 minutes in there that we haven't been able to do.
St. John's held to only 1 field goal in the first 10 minutes. They made 1 of their first 16 from the floor. That has to be pretty good defense.
Absolutely. I thought we came out hard, got after them hard, and really disrupted the flow. but they're a very good basketball team, and you know they're going to make their runs.
10-0 run by RU in the Garden.
Yeah, well, you know, I think our kids are playing with more and more confidence, and to be able to do that against a real good St. John's team that gave them a real lot of confidence, but we lost it towards the end of the first half.
Joel Salvi outstanding again, 9 points, 10 rebounds in 30 minutes.
He's playing great basketball for us right now, and that's what you want from your senior, to be playing at the best he's ever played, and he sure is.
Dante Jones with a 3, Todd Billa with a 3. Rutgers up 28-16, but St. John's traps and gets back in the game.
Absolutely. We knew they were going to make a run at us. They're a very good pressing team, and unfortunately we just lost our composure for some periods of time at the end of that first half.
Now in the second half, St. John's goes up by 1, and then they take the lead. Anthony Glover with the layup. Nice feed from Barkley.
Yeah, well, this, you know, Barkley, it all goes through him, but what I like is there's a couple knockout punches they threw, and we didn't go down. We hung right in there.
No, you didn't. And Dante Jones was one of the reasons with that nice rebound and score, and now a pretty look down low. I thought you were unselfish in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And Joel Salvi passed to Eugene Dabney. Eugene's been playing great basketball for us, and a lot of guys stepped up. It wasn't a great night for Rashad Kent or Jeff Greer, but other people stepped to the table.
LeVar Postel got hot for the Red Storm. He hit 16. Here's Greer. He hits a 3. We're tied at 49.
Yeah, this is where it really got hot and heavy, and just went back after each other. Jeff Greer hit some huge shots down the stretch to keep us in the game.
Greer with 11 points, 3 for 6 from downtown. Rutgers down by 2, and now Salvi with the rebound and putback.
Yeah, it was a big play. He was all over the place all night. It was great to see.
Here are the big plays down the stretch. First of all, Dabney missing the layup.
Yeah, it was tough. A lot of contact, but you know, that's something the young players, he's gonna make an awful lot of them too.
And then Barkley makes the huge shot. You get another good opportunity here. The look, Salvi, and just a tremendous block by Postel.
Yeah, that was a good block. Joel took it strong to the hole, but the kid made a great play.
So the final score is 61-57. St. John's wins it. Rutgers 5 for 17 from downtown, but St. John's was 1 for 11. I think the big notes, Rutgers with 18 turnovers and St. John's with 14 steals. Coach, let's go back to Sunday at the rack. Villanova in town, a couple of big guys, Rashad Kent and Malik Allen.
Yeah, well, I think this is a good Villanova team. They were coming off a couple of wins in a row, and this was an important game for us to close out our homestand on a positive way.
Again, nice ball movement leads to a hoop here.
Yeah, I think the kids are passing the ball well. They're very unselfish, and the thing that I think is going very well for us, we're getting our 4 and 5 people more involved in our scoring.
And when guys like Salvi get out in the break, they're going to get the basketball, right?
Well, that's one of our strengths. Joel can really run the court. Eugene can run the court. Rashad. So we really need to get those guys some easy baskets.
A loose ball, and it's great to see that guy above the rim.
Yeah, it all comes off the defense. When we are playing good defense, we get transition, and when we get transition, we win most of those games.
And Eugene Dabney with a very solid ball game, Coach. 10 points, 8 boards.
Well, it's great to see. I mean, it's been a long time coming for Gene, but he's starting to really feel comfortable and do all the things we need.
Hey, you look explosive early on. You're up 17-5. You're up 23-10. But are you always looking over your shoulder saying, hey, Villanova can put together a run?
Yeah, well, there's no question. I mean, we play in the Big East. Everybody has a good squad, and nobody's going to go away, and you just have to hang in there. The key thing is when people make a run is to not let it become too much of a run like we did at St. John's. And I think in the Villanova game here, we did a better job of just fighting them off and never letting them get control.
Here's that little bit of a run. Malik Allen hitting the turnaround. Rutgers lead down to 4, 29-25. You're up by 9 at the break. And again in the second half, here comes Nova.
Yeah, well, there's some seniors on that squad, and there's some kids that have played a lot of minutes in the Big East. So I think they're going to make their plays, but I think every time we needed to respond, our kids stepped up.
This is a big hoop. Dante nails the 3. You go up by 8.
Yeah, that got the crowd really involved in the game, got our kids feeling good, and I just thought we played with so much offensive confidence. It was good to see. There's Dante, nails a 3, but then you see him finishing at the rim.
And once again, good ball movement. Everyone looking for the open man. And there's Salvi on the reverse.
Well, talk about a guy right now that's playing with confidence. Joel's just, I think, taking every part of his game to the next level.
And there's the basket of the foul. Dabney putting Rutgers up 57-44. And one more exclamation point, and you know who, Dante Jones. Look out!
That was a great break because we got the quick outlet pass to Todd Billett. He throws one on the money, and Dante finishes. It was a fun play to watch.
Scarlet Knights shoot 21 free throws here. Villanova only 13. I'm talking about how many they made in the ball game. And Rutgers 46% from the field. Villanova only 37%. Good D again.
Yeah, I think we've stepped up our defense. You need to.
Dante Jones, last couple of ball games, on fire, over 20 points per ball game. Joel Salvi, almost a double-double, man, 11 and 9. And finally, Eugene Dabney, 7.5, 7.5. You need that kind of productivity from a big guy.
Well, that's the difference in our team. When our 4 and 5 guys are rebounding and scoring, we can play with just about anybody in the league. When they're not, we're very average.
You go home at night and say, we could have had 2 last week.
You do and you don't. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of young players that are coming on right now, and I'm very excited about that. So I think you just have to look ahead instead of looking behind you.
So the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers have a couple big ball games coming up this week on the road. We'll preview those games when we come back. Down, and isn't it great to have a player like Dante Jones who can break down a defense?
Well, it makes your offense flow a little bit better, makes you look like a smarter coach. I mean, this is a guy that when he sees space, he takes advantage of it, and right there, you don't need a set play to get somebody a layup. You need good players who know how to penetrate, and this is just a great individual move by Dante, something that he's worked hard at, his crossover dribble, get into the lane. You know, earlier in his career, he might have charged here. He gets it under control, puts the brakes on, which is very, very important. And then he makes a nice, has to sell the shot because they're not going to go for it if he doesn't sell it. And then he gets Joel Salvi a dunk off of a nice feed right here. And Joel finishes quickly, which is important too. Instead of all the head faking and all the things some young players might do, he just goes right up and finishes strong.
No dribbles there, which is beautiful, you know?
Well, you have to have that. I mean, in our league, there's just too much shot blocking and athleticism. You know, you've got to finish.
So there's a look at Bannon's breakdown brought to you by And One Apparel. And it was a nice breakdown. Let's look ahead to the upcoming games. Rutgers will take on Georgetown this weekend at the MCI Center. That ball game on noon this Saturday. The Hoyas come in 10-8, 2-5 in conference play. Their 2 wins over Miami and BC on the road. Craig Esherick, the head coach. Kevin Braswell, the sophomore guard, and I like him.
Oh, he's a great talent. I mean, this is a kid that can just take over a game and you know, hit deep threes, finish at the rim, get other people open shots. He's a very dangerous little player.
From St. Anthony's of Jersey City, Anthony Perry.
Yeah, he's, you know, hasn't put up big scoring numbers, but we know what kind of player Anthony Perry is.
He's averaging 10.7. Last year he averaged 14 points per game. Ruben Boomche, and he is active.
Yeah, well, this is a guy that just keeps getting better and better. I mean, he's become much more of a presence inside, and when he's playing well and he's not in foul trouble, you know, they beat anybody in the league.
He's got 51 offensive rebounds on the year. That is really impressive numbers. And this is Nat Burton going on the baseline, a junior from Washington, D.C. He had a season high of 19.
Yeah, there's a lot of weapons here, this Georgetown team. And like most Georgetown teams, it kind of starts with defense. They guard you and they give you a hard time and they score off of it.
Well, up after that ball game is Boston College. They were 6-21 a year ago. They're 9-9 this year. They're struggling right now. They've lost their last 5. But Al Skinner has a youthful club, and they're getting better.
Oh, absolutely. They have great young talent right now. It all goes through Troy Bell, a guy that we recruited out of high school who's just a great talent, one of the top freshmen in the league. And he's put the team on his back and gotten some huge scoring nights. And everything about their team right now, they play with more confidence. There's more depth. There's just everything about BC is taking the next step forward.
Troy Bell, 4 times Big East Rookie of the Week. Xavier Singletary, a transfer from Howard at a Dunbar High School, pretty good.
Yeah, good player, good grab for them. A guy that was a Big East player playing at a lower level, and he's come on board and really made an impact.
And he's averaging 12.4 points per ball game. Kenny Walls, a sophomore from San Francisco.
He's a guy that can hit deep threes, real streaky player. There's a lot of weapons here, for particularly their perimeter. A lot of kids that can score. When they get the inside scoring, you know, they can play with just about anybody in the league.
And here's Michael Cotton in his second year after transferring from Oklahoma. He's got 23 steals. So, Coach, they're active, and they're just looking to play hard.
Yeah, and I think they are. They're doing a great job. I mean, right now, look at their record. It's more improved, improved more from last year. And heck, we got a lot of games to play. This is a team that you don't want to see. They're young, aggressive, and kind of fearless.
And the thing is about their losses, they lost to Notre Dame by 9, Villanova 8, Georgetown 3, Miami 8, Seton Hall 9. They're in almost every ball game. All right, let's get to the keys for this coming week for Coach Bannon. Let's begin with Georgetown.
Rebound, Rebound, rebound.
Oh, come on. You guys had this set up, didn't you?
Well, you know what? There's more than rebounding, but I'll tell you what, if you don't rebound, you're not beating that team. But the other thing is take care of the ball. They're an aggressive team. They're going to try to do some trapping defenses, and we got to play with offensive composure.
All right, what about BC?
Well, it starts with guarding the perimeter. You see they had a lot of guys that can score the basketball out there, so we got to start with guarding the perimeter. After that, we have to have an inside presence in the paint. Got to outplay their 4 and 5 men because we feel like we have an advantage there. And then last of all, we've got to win the battle on the boards because this is a team, if they're rebounding well, they get out and run on you. Tough team to beat.
Kevin's Keys also brought to you by And One Apparel. So there's a look at what's coming up this week. Up next, we'll meet a Dabney, another Dabney at Rutgers, but this one's name isn't Mike. We'll have more in a moment. Rutgers University has started 4 different players in the pivot this season, but now I think they've settled on one. Eugene Dabney, who played extremely well against Villanova, almost had a double-double, and he joins us on the Kevin Bannon Show. Eugene, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
You getting more and more comfortable with this ball club right now?
I'm getting more and more comfortable in my game. I feel pretty good.
What are you doing better? What are you doing more relaxed?
I think it's just a comfort level. I just feeling more comfortable, you know, get more opportunities.
Now, you went through a stretch there. You started early in the year, and then you had 3 big DNPs on the ledger. How were you able to stay focused and not get frustrated and come back real strong?
Well, I was a little frustrated in the beginning, but then, you know, I just thought about, you know, just got to keep playing. You know, I came here to play, and I felt that if I keep playing, then my opportunity will come, and it came.
And Kevin, he's been playing real well, too.
Oh, absolutely. I just think it's all just growing pains. You know, this is a guy that was away from the game all last year with a really tough injury to rehab. And he comes back, and we threw him right in the fire. And, you know, it was tough for Gene. But, I mean, like he said, he's a tough guy, and he just plugged along. And now we're starting to really see the benefit of, you know, what he can bring to our team. When his scoring and rebounding is there, we play at a whole nother level. And I'm just really happy for him because he's been through an awful lot.
Well, what about getting ready for this season? How hard did you work, and what did you do to try to get that knee strong again?
It was a lot of weight training and conditioning. I didn't get to do a lot of conditioning earlier, but, you know, it just came along, a lot of lifting weights.
As your teammates, have they been supportive throughout this stretch?
Definitely, you know, I mean, they felt that I should be playing better, and that's the reason that you know, I just kept going, because they felt that they wanted me to play, and I just wanted to be there.
Kevin, you need size in this league. There's no question about it. Some teams don't have the big guy who can dominate a game, but to have him in there as a neutralizer, what does that mean to the ball club?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the biggest ingredient that we really haven't had over my tenure here at Rutgers. And I think now with Eugene, you've got a freshman center who's been close to a couple double-doubles, and the sky's the limit for him. There's not a lot of young big people that can make that kind of impact in our league, and he's got just about a half a season left this year and then 3 years beyond that. So I feel like we have a great one here and another good young one in Kareem Wright, and I think they're different type of players. So I really feel like that position for us is very bright for the next 4 years.
I think the numbers will continue to swell. Let's take a look at Eugene Dabney thus far. You know, it's a little misleading because he hasn't played a lot of minutes, but now in the last 5 games, 23, 12, 30, 32, 25 minutes. So you would think that those numbers would continue to increase. Well, you're from Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. You also played at Fork Union Military Academy. Did it equip you for the big time, for the Big East?
I think attitude-wise, you know, it's very strict there. I think just being able to sit down and do your work, I think Fork Union really helped me in school-wise.
Is it true that you want to be a Division I basketball coach someday?
Yeah, I do. I want to be the greatest coach ever lived.
Oh, that sounds pretty sweet. Maybe Coach Bannon can take you under your wings for a while.
I can imagine playing for this guy. He's nasty, I'm telling you.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah, but he's got all the makings. I think he could be a heck of a coach.
Eugene, good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right now it's time for our Monster Slam Dunk of the Week, and it's brought to you by MonsterSlam.com, the official online superstore for Rutgers merchandise. Kevin, this is a beauty. Mr. Salvi.
Well, this was a great play by Joel, and it just shows you the confidence that he's playing with right now. That's a play that probably wouldn't be made last year, but everything about him is just blossoming right here. He gets, pretty athletic Villanova team, gets right by him and to the rim before anyone can rotate.
Look at the way he goes with such ferocity. I think it's ferocity, but whatever it was, he's doing that too, Coach. Joel Salvi, congratulations.
Reminds me of your finishes in the Livingston League in, the old days.
Those were on the biddy hoops, 8-6. All right, we'll take a short break. More coming up. The Scarlet Spotlight is still ahead. Rutgers continues to shoot the three ball extremely well, 110 thus far this season. It is time for the Scarlet Spotlight, and this time we go to a player who's from New Zealand. Mike Thompson, a 6'7", 220-pound sophomore. It's brought to you by the Rutgers Court Club.
G'day, my name is Mike Thompson. I'm from New Zealand and 6'7", play forward here at Rutgers University, and I'm a sophomore.
Numbers favoring Rutgers. Leave it for Thompson. Takes it to the hole.
I chose to come to Rutgers because, it's a great school and also great coaches here, and, those two things, really attracted me to come here. And I haven't really seen much of this part of America either, so. Well, here I end up doing a lot of schoolwork, but things I like to do, I like to go outdoors, go mountain biking, hang out with my friends.
Thompson got inside, lays it home. Thompson, very good execution along that baseline.
The biggest adjustment coming here would be just getting used to the fast-paced way of life, and people are slightly different. They react differently to certain things, so getting used to the culture, just adjusting that way. My favorite food would have to be my mom's home cooking, because they live over in New Zealand. I don't get to eat it that often. Like roast lamb, occasionally kind of a cultural food. They cook food in the ground, and they sometimes eat like grubs, like some insects and stuff. Tastes all right. Tastes pretty good. Playing for Coach Bannon is a lot of fun, and it's a learning experience. Every day we learn something in practice, and you always have to be listening and be attentive, but it's a good experience so far.
He eats stuff in the ground. Your recruiting has really gone to another level.
Well, we have another idea for pregame meals. I guess we'll see how that works. But he's a great guy. Mike, over 3.5 grade point average first semester, and somebody who's going to have some really great moments in a Rutgers uniform.
He finished pretty well in a couple of those plays.
Yeah, he's coming on like crazy. It's been, again, a little bit of an adjustment for him, but the sky's the limit for Mike.
All right now let's go around the Big East Conference and get you caught up on what's going on. It's brought to you this week by New Jersey Transit. Saturday, Ohio State stormed back to steal one from St. John's. Michael Redd's three-pointer cut the lead to 64-63 with 45 seconds left. And with just 25 seconds to go, Scoonie Penn hit 2 free throws to put the Buckeyes up 1. Last chance for the Red Storm, but Eric Barkley's shot blocked by Scoonie Penn, and the victory goes to Ohio State. Elsewhere, Khalid El-Amin had 22 to lead the Huskies over Georgetown at the MCI Center. UConn improved to 13-3 overall, 2-2 in conference play. The Huskies have won 11 of their last 13 against the Hoyas. Sunday, Calvin Bowman had 17 points and 4 boards to help lift the West Virginia Mountaineers over the Friars. Lionel Armstead led the way with 18 points and 9 rebounds. The Mountaineers up their record to 10-6, 2-3 in the conference. Monday at the Carrier Dome, the Syracuse Orangemen used a 31-6 run in the first half to break open their game against the Huskies. Syracuse made it a perfect 16-0 for the season and 6-0 in league play with the 88-74 win. Ryan Blackwell had 18 points and 12 rebounds. The Orangemen, their best start in 82 years. You can still hear upstate New York screaming, the Orangemen are for real. Wow, this ball club looks pretty awesome right now.
They sure do. I mean, they pass every test. You know, first it was they hadn't played road games, then they hadn't played the UCONNs of the world. I mean, they pass every test. They look like a very special team. Remind me of last year's UCONN team. They just have that way about them that looks like they're going to go far.
A look at the Big East standings brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts, and then we'll be back with some final thoughts. So for Rutgers, the story now is life on the road. Coach, good luck.
Yeah, that's it. Big stretch here. Week at Georgetown, at BC. Important games for us.
What are the things you have to do when you're away from home? Do you have to protect the basketball better? Do you have to get out of the gate quickly?
Yeah, I think some things like, you know, just do all the dirty work. Make sure you rebound well, make your foul shots, and you know, just your execution and taking care of the basketball. I mean, everything about you has to go up a notch if you think you're going to win on the road in this league.
You're 3-3 in league play right now, Coach, and 11-7 overall. Do you say, well, I could have more? Do you say, we were lucky to get to this point? Do you ever evaluate where you're at, or you just look ahead?
Well, I think you have to know where you are, and you look at yourselves and say, how can we get better? And with a team that's playing, we're playing so many freshmen and sophomores, you just have to keep addressing little things and try to get better at those things, and the big things will take care of themselves.
All right, I won't say these are crucial games. I say that every week. They're crucial. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
All right, that's it for the Kevin Bannon Show. See you next week, everybody.
.60 up Boston way, got Yuka. Boston's the new home of Queens Village native Yuka Agbai. They love him because he's a scrappy freshman. 16 points, 10 rebounds for Yuka. But Rutgers ruled on the road for the first time this season. Dante Jones, Rutgers over Boston College, 78-72, and the bench went wild. In Stores, Connecticut, stand.
The three-game road trip is over, and now the Scarlet Knights look to take advantage of the home court and the home crowd as they entertain Miami and Seton Hall. One for the road. Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome to the Kevin Bannon Show. You know, winning in the Big East is sweet, but winning on the road is even sweeter. And that's what the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers did on Wednesday night against the Eagles of Boston College, a 78-72 victory. Coach, time once was when you guys couldn't win on the road, and now it's starting to happen.
Yeah, when you try to build a program, first it starts with being a good home team. I think we have that. We have a great atmosphere at home, and we play with a lot of confidence. But the next bridge you have to cross is getting some wins on the road. We did that a couple times last year. We got our first this year.
All right, let's pick up Rutgers against Boston College in Chestnut Hill. And, Coach, once again, early on, your team was ready to play.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, getting off to a good start. And we certainly started well. Todd Billett nailing a deep three. We had a nice confidence level early in the game. It was an important game for both teams.
You got people involved early like Dabney.
I think the difference between us now and maybe a couple of weeks ago is we're getting our big people involved early in the game. Joel Salvy's just playing great basketball for us. Gene Dabney's stepped up, and Rashad Kent, believe it or not, is averaging in Big East play 72% shooting from the field.
And when I see him scoring early on, I know he's going to be a focal point for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's real important because we feel like we can match up with most teams in the perimeter, but we've got to have some inside scoring.
And it's nice to hit the three as well.
Well, that's a big part of our arsenal. If we're not doing that, we're not going to be as good as we can be on a given night.
How about a little bit of unselfishness, Coach?
Yeah, I think we always have that. I mean, guys are really looking for each other and passing the ball well. It's a key to our team.
Rutgers up 26-24, but you did a good job on Troy Bell. He was averaging almost 19. You held him to 13.
Yeah, and, you know, he had 2 threes in the last couple of minutes of the game. Otherwise, he was under double figures. So Todd Billett did a great job on him.
And here's that high-low looking play with the big guys combining for a hoop.
Yeah, another indication of Gene Salvy's just increased confidence. I mean, to score and pass the ball the way he is has come a long way.
Hey, Coach, you're up at the half, 35-29. I think you could have been up more. You shot 54% from the field.
Yeah, we came in at halftime thinking we should have been up more, and I think that really helped us in the second half because I think our kids came out very focused.
Look at the second effort here by Dante, who had 15 points and 7 boards.
Very focused. You know, he really played a good floor game for us.
And this is all effort, Coach.
Well, Joel Salvi, I can't say enough about this guy. He's just having some year for us. He's averaging about 8 points and 8 rebounds in Big East games, and that's huge.
And again, offensive boards. Here's Alvidas Tenise contributing.
You know, Alvidas has really been banged up this year, and he just gave us 5-6 minutes, but he played very good basketball.
And again, Dabney getting the look down low. It's 57-48 Rutgers. 7 minutes to go. BC coming back a little bit, but Greer with 13 points and 6 rebounds.
I thought that was a huge shot. Shot clock's winding down. Jones penetrates, Greer hits the 3, and I just think that was a big play in the game.
Salvi with at least 1 slam per game. Kent almost gets a double-double, 15 and 9.
He was solid. I mean, he played a great game for us and a big difference in the game.
Well, this one cut the lead to 72-68, 19 seconds to go, but Greer gets the slam.
Yeah, it was good to see Jeff Greer. He's been struggling a little bit. Had a very solid floor game for us.
78-72 the final. You shoot 50% from the field. BC only 37%. You win the battle on the boards, and you go to the line 36 times.
Well, that was important. That's an indication that we're taking the ball strong and we're playing with confidence.
All right, Coach, let's go back to the ball game against the Georgetown Hoyas at the MCI Center. And Rutgers with the early bucket here. Todd Billett pulling up and hitting. What were your thoughts early on?
I thought we came out really well. We were ready to play, and we did some good things. And this is a game where we just didn't put 40 minutes together, but I think early on the kids were focused and ready to play.
Greer connecting for the 3. Georgetown answers. Cortland Freeman. This is a ball club that's got a lot of different weapons. Nobody who's a superstar, but they all contribute.
Yeah, well, that's it. Sometimes it works to their advantage, and sometimes they can't find somebody to lead them. But I think they're a good team. They really present a lot of problems, and when the big fella is playing well, it really affects you.
You think it's Kent's confidence right now? Is he just more comfortable out there?
I think he's just growing up in a lot of ways. It's just a maturity thing, playing every possession and giving it all every minute you're out there because he's got the ability and the toughness to really get a lot done.
Here's the Hoyas defense. Braswell with the steal and layup.
I mean, that's what hurt us all night. I think our turnovers, and you know, they deserve credit because they're a very good defensive team and they do a lot to sort of disrupt your offense. But I think the difference in the game was them scoring off our turnovers.
Well, Greer nails a 3. Rutgers leads 29-25. And then it's Kent from Salvi tying the ball game at 31. I mean, you're right there, back and forth.
Yeah, well, this has been our problem, and I think particularly on the road, you've got to play 40 minutes. And we played some real good basketball in this game, but the turnovers and the lack of composure in the second half, get behind on a team like Georgetown, you're going to have a hard time coming back.
Dante doing a good job here, drawing the foul and getting to the stripe.
I think he's really come on now. He's playing a real solid game, going to the basket and doing the things we need him to do.
Anthony Perry with 16 points. The Hoyas going up 45-42. Perry a big factor in this ball game.
Yeah, Perry's offense has been up and down this year, but he always seems to find a way to hurt Rutgers when he plays against us.
So Georgetown up by 9, but Rutgers just hangs around, and if you keep looking, you'll find somebody.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you see a stretch like that, and you wonder why we can't do that all the time, and it's pretty simple, breaking the press with confidence, keeping the ball off the floor, but unfortunately that just didn't happen all night.
Billett looks like a pro there. He pulls up, and he's looking more confident in that type of play.
I don't think there's any question that he's playing with a lot more confidence and quickness, and he's going to be an important guy down the stretch.
Here's Braswell to Perry for the layup. The Hoyas pull away, and they win it 71-55. Ruben Boomche, by the way, had 19 points and 12 boards. He hurt you on the boards. They won the battle 40-36.
Yeah, well, we thought that was an important part of the game, and they got it done, and I think they had about 5 or 6 block shots, and that really hurt as well.
All right, a look at a couple of the guys that have done well in the recent games. First of all, Rashad Kent, coach is smiling, 16 points, 8 boards. Dante Jones plays hard every night, and certainly the figures reflect it. Joel Salvi having a terrific year, doing a little bit of everything, including giving the ball up. And Jeff Greer maybe needs to score a little more, Coach. 9 points per game last 2 games. Do you look for him to give you 12-18?
He's always been a guy that has a little stretch where he struggles with his confidence. I think he's coming out of that now, and he will be putting up the kind of numbers that we know he can.
When he plays well, I think you're usually in every ball game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because he's so versatile. He can hit a deep 3. He can finish at the rim. He rebounds the ball. He can pass it.
when he's not in sync, it really hurts our ball club.
All right, a look ahead to some big ball games coming up when we return in a moment. Back, it's time for Bannon's breakdown. Let's learn how to break the press, as you did against Georgetown.
Well, we did sometimes, not all the time. Well, I think spacing's important. You know, you have to make sure that you put the press in situations where they get stretched out a bit. And then the kids have to be aggressive, and I always think that dribbling against it should be at very select times. So in this particular segment, I think our team did a good job of all those things. The spacing's good. Jeff Greer doesn't allow himself to get trapped. Throws it back to our best ball handler, and Todd Billett. Dante Jones, you know, goes into an area that's open and forces the Georgetown defense to collapse on him, which opens up Jeff Greer again to get the ball back. And it's being advanced without too many dribbles. See, Jeff takes the ball, makes people play him, gets it back to Todd Billett, and now we finally get a chance to be aggressive. We get the chance to throw the ball ahead and get an opportunity to get an easy basket, which is what you want to do against pressure. So we throw it ahead to Dante Jones. He sees Joel Salvi open, cross-court pass to Rashad Kent. We get the finish. So not too many dribbles, patience. Nobody tried to force anything, just took what came to him, and it ends up with a real nice finish for Rashad Kent.
And always keep that guy parallel to you in the backcourt. It gives you an option. It gives you an outlet, right?
Sure. You don't want to put somebody in a position where he can't have a safety out, right, against pressure. And I think Jeff Greer and Todd Billett did a very good job of that.
All right, let's look ahead to the upcoming ball games for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, and let's begin with Miami, and they are a very good ball club, Coach.
They really are. I mean, Miami's a team that's, you know, one of the elite teams in our league, and people thought maybe this year they were going to take a big step backwards, but they struggled early, but they've come on. You know, our next two opponents have the perfect blend of seniors and good young players, and these guys start three seniors that have been through a lot of wars, and they got some real exciting young kids to go along with it.
Johnny Hemsley averaging 18 per game, a Naismith Player of the Year award candidate. And Mario Bland is playing extremely well, Coach. 12.7 points, 7.0 rebounds.
Yeah, he's just one of the more consistent players in the league. You know, he rebounds, he scores when he can, he makes his foul shots. You just have to like the kid. He just gives you a great effort night in and night out.
Johnny Salmon's averaging 9.8 points. He's also hit 18 threes. He's a sophomore.
Great young player, unbelievable upside. He's really a perfect blend for that team.
Elton Tyler has 25 blocks to go with 10 points and 5 boards.
I think this is huge for them. If they're going to be a postseason team, which it looks like they're going to be, they needed to have somebody step up, and I think Tyler's been the guy. He can score inside and block shots, and you see his activity.
And Vernon Jennings, 418 career assists, second on their all-time list.
Well, that's huge, too. They need good point guard play, and they need somebody out there that runs the whole thing, and he's really improved as a player as well.
Field goal percentage defense, 40%. They also shoot 76% from the free throw line. And after that ball game, it's Seton Hall and Rutgers, a good old-fashioned war.
Well, it's a good rivalry, you know, and they're off to a great start. Very solid basketball team, like Miami. Perfect blend of some seniors that have been through the wars and some very exciting young players.
How good is Darius Lane, 3 times this year Big East Rookie of the Week?
Yeah, he's just solid, you know. He's really a solid player. Can hit a three, can put it on the floor, and then just plays hard every minute.
He's averaging 14.8 points per game. Shaheen Holloway, he's picked it up this season.
I think there's no question. He's really having a great senior year, and I think he's just made real good decisions and gotten the right people involved at the right times.
101 assists, 27 threes for Shaheen. Remus Kaukanis, great free throw shooter, averaging almost 12 points per ball game.
Well, there's a guy, as I mentioned, that's been through the wars, has played in an awful lot of Big East games, and you know, he just lets it all hang out and can hit threes and go to the rim, and just a tough guy.
They really do have a sixth man in Gary Saunders, who had 16 at Pitt and 14 at Georgetown.
He's playing that role really well. He's a very talented kid who, you know, on a given night can put up 15, 18 points. On other nights he's quiet, but does the job off the bench.
And Ty Shine had 14 points in 17 minutes off the bench at UConn.
I think that's a real strength for Seton Hall. You know, and most teams in the league have a terrific point guard, and I think they have too, and I think that really helps them, and it's going to help them down the stretch.
Seton Hall is 14-4, 6-2 in conference play, so both Seton Hall and Miami putting things together early. Let's talk about the keys for these ball games. Begin with Miami. and it's brought to you by And One Apparel. Kevin, take it away.
Well, the first thing, you got a guy Hemsley who can get 25 plus on a given night. We've got to do a good job defending him. He's really a talented player. You know, the next thing we have to do is execute. They play some of the best half-court defense in our league, so we've got to play with confidence on offense and execute. And then the last thing is, you know, overall defensively, if we want to win at home, we just have to make their day miserable by playing just swarming, terrific, intense defense.
And in the New Jersey battle against the Hall.
Well, it's a good matchup of good perimeter players on both teams, so I think, you know, who wins that matchup has a good chance of winning the game. Defending their perimeter is the first thing. Next thing we have to do is attack the basket. Sam Dallenberg gives them a shot-blocking presence that a lot of teams don't have, and it can make a big difference. So we have to, when we do go to the rim, we have to go to the rim to dunk the basketball. And then our half-court execution, I have great respect for the defense they play. And we just have to execute our things and run our stuff and play with confidence at home.
Kids know each other, too, so it's kind of special in that regard.
Well, the world is so small in basketball now that the kids know each other all over the league. But I do think, you know, Rutgers and Seton Hall, it is a bit more special, and I think it's just good for everybody.
More on the rivalry in the moment, plus an interview coming up shortly with Phil the Thrill Sellers. Stay with us. We'll welcome Phil Sellers in just a couple of moments, but first, a little more on Rutgers and Seton Hall, New Jersey's version of the Hatfields and the McCoys. No matter how you slice it or how you figure it, next Wednesday's showdown between in-state rivals Seton Hall and Rutgers is a big game, a Big East win, bragging rights in the state, and a game, like Willie Nelson says, that's always on your mind.
They're right around the corner, and last year we went up to Seton Hall, and it was a pretty close game, and they ended up winning. And I think that this year we're going to come out with the fire, and that we're really going to try to do the best we can to win this game, because I guess we have the feeling that we want to be the best team in New Jersey.
Year in, year out, the matchup always draws the eyes of the young high school talent in-state, and it can have a lasting effect on a recruit who might be debating which Big East school to attend.
It was always probably the most intense game, because I came to all the games watching Jeff and the team, and whenever they played Seton Hall, I mean, the game just seemed a little bit more intense, because there was more on the line. It was a battle for who's the best team in Jersey in the Big East, and it carries right over to recruiting and everything.
No matter how you choose to approach this contest, both the coaches and the players realize that the time of year and proximity make this an important game.
Right now, there's a couple teams with only a couple losses, and right now we're kind of in the middle. So the next couple of games are real important in terms of just separating ourselves and making sure we stay in the upper portion of the league.
Well, it is a big game. Anytime you have a conference game with an in-state opponent, an in-state rivalry, it becomes a huge game for a lot of different reasons. But we're looking forward to it. It's always been an exciting game for the fans and everyone around this area and around the state, and even in the New York metropolitan area. So may the best team win, and I'm sure it's going to be an entertaining, exciting matchup.
It should be an exciting matchup. And speaking of exciting, the man who joins us now was exciting at Rutgers, one of the greatest players ever for the Scarlet Knights. Phil the Thrill Sellers. How you doing, Phil?
Thank you, Bruce. Pleasure. Doing fine.
You look pretty good. You look thinner. You look sharp.
Yeah. Lost a few pounds.
Phil, it's hard to believe. Almost 25 years since the unforgettable season of 1976. Next year, it will be the anniversary. It's got to be special.
Can't imagine. It's been that long. Almost 25 years now, and yet the feeling is just like hasn't been that long.
You know, you guys had so much talent, Phil, but there was something there about cohesiveness and unselfishness that made it very special.
Yeah, we played together as a team, and we knew the importance of playing together as a team. And we worked very hard in practice. We feel that if we were going to spend 2-3 hours in practice, come game time, we were definitely going to be ready to play.
I remember that team quite well, even though I'm a lot younger than Phil. But I think sometimes when you compare different eras, I have a hard time, saying, oh, well, the guys 20 years ago could play with these guys. That team was special. They had everything. They had size, they had quickness, they had shooting.
I mean, to me, that's a team that comes right into the year 2000 and has the same accomplishments. That's how good they were.
Phil, I remember a ball game against USC. You had monster numbers, something like 43 points, but the coach was never happy with you, right? He called you on the carpet.
No. Yeah, that was funny. That was a good, very interesting game because the first half we didn't play that well as a team, and you know, coach went in at halftime. He really razzed me out at halftime. So came the second half, I came out ready to play, and you know, I set a school record, like 33 points in the second half, and you know, we barely won that game. You know, matter of fact, we lost that game by exactly 2 points. We really took that game to the wire against a school like USC, who was really known for their basketball power.
How about the barn? We're looking at highlights from the old barn. Kevin, can you imagine if played in that place? And the place,
man.
It was a home court edge like you never saw.
Is it true? I mean, I don't know, but is it true that the ceiling, the flakes used to come down?
Peel off. Used to peel off the ceiling.
Snowing in the middle of games, right?
Exactly. The crowd used to, really get into the game. You know, you couldn't fit but maybe 3,000 in there, but the fans came. They came ready for an exciting game, and yeah, they used to pack it in.
Sellers and Dabney and Jordan and Copeland and Abdel Anderson. It was a tremendous Hollis Copeland. They were 31-2. They went to the Final Four that year. It was an unforgettable season. But I think, in my mind, Phil, the greatest game of this entire run was the game against St. John's at the Garden, March 6, 1976. You beat them in the ECAC qualifying tournament 70-67, and you and Beaver Smith, I remember the images, going back and forth. You would take it and score. Beaver would score. Was that one of the greatest head-to-head confrontations?
For myself, yes. Very big game for the school. I mean, we needed to, win that game to really prove that we were, one of the elite teams here in the East. So when it came against St. John's, I mean, we were ready to play. Beaver Smith was, a neighborhood, playground guy that I played against during the summertime, so we knew kind of one another. So came game time, it was, let's see whose team is the best, and we would really go at one another.
And we found out whose team was the best. It was Phil Sellers' team, the club that went on to the Final Four. Great to see you, and we're looking forward to the 25th anniversary. It's going to be really dynamite.
Pleasure to be here, Bruce.
Yeah,
Coach,
thanks so much for coming, Phil.
Anytime.
All right, we'll take a short break. More coming up on the Kevin Bannon Show. A look around the Big East in a moment.
You enter.
115 threes thus far for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. It seems like they also have 115 slams. It is time for the Monster Slam of the Week, and it's brought to you by MonsterSlam.com, the official online superstore for Rutgers merchandise. Coach, it's Salvi.
Well, he seems to have had a few of these. You know why? Because he's just playing so well. Right now he's playing with so much confidence. Right here he had an opening. Last year Joel wouldn't have made that play. This year he has the confidence to get to the rim against the big BC front line.
I think he looks good with the headband, and he seems to have a lock on these honors because every week we're talking about him.
Well, Mr. Jones and Mr. Kent, Mr. Greer are probably very jealous of that, but Salvi owns the MonsterSlam.com.
He really does. A nice pop for the sponsor in that regard. All right, time to go around the Big East Conference, get you caught up on what's going on in the league, and this is brought to you by New Jersey Transit. Saturday, Mike Jarvis' St. John's squad saw the Fighting Irish finish with a flurry, down by 2. With 5 minutes left, the Irish ended the game at a 17-2 spurt. Jimmy Dillon steal an eventual three-point play, gave the Irish the lead for good with just over 2 minutes to go. Troy Murphy scored 30 points. He had 18 boards to lead Notre Dame to their 4th win in the conference and their 13th victory overall. Elsewhere Saturday, the Hurricanes hosted the Wildcats in a thriller. Johnny Helmsley, three-pointer with 44 seconds left, put the Canes up 57-56. Tashawn Price's floater in the lane gave Kentucky the lead back at 58-57 with under 27 ticks remaining. Vernon Jennings' desperation shot at the buzzer fell short. Kentucky won by 3. Sunday, freshman guard Gary Buchanan connected on 6 threes on the afternoon to help lead Villanova over Georgia. Buchanan had 24 points in 26 minutes and shot 8 for 12 from the field, 6 for 10 from behind the arc. With the win, the Wildcats improved to 11-7 on the year. Meanwhile, the Seton Hall Pirates and the UCONN Huskies battled in a physical contest up in Stores. Jake Bosco took an elbow to the head late in the game, but earlier he was able to score 11 points and pull down 6 rebounds to help UConn get by the Hall. Khalid El Amin scored 16 points to lead their Huskies to the 15th win of the season. Monday, the Red Storm did it again. After St. John's took a 5-point lead with 5:23 remaining in Syracuse, they were outscored 14-3 the rest of the way. Jason Hart's three-pointer tied the game with just over 3.5 minutes to play. And then Hart found Damone Brown all alone underneath the basket. That gave the Orangemen the lead for good. Syracuse remaining perfect on the year at 18-0. And that's a look around the Big East. Here's the standings. We'll return in a moment. What's the theme?
The theme is take the next step. We got 2 great opponents coming into our court, and the home court's not the answer. Playing well is the answer.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks.
That's it for the Kevin Bannon Show. See you next week. Working overtime. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome to the Kevin Bannon Show. It was a heck of a college basketball game. 2 in-state rivals going toe-to-toe in a tug of war. It was an emotional roller coaster. Unfortunately for Rutgers, Seton Hall ends up on the high. Kevin, what's the most frustrating aspect of that ball game?
Well, I think we had everything. We had a good start. We had a good comeback, tremendous crowd, national television exposure. We just didn't get it done at the end, so that's very, very, very frustrating.
Are you exhausted?
Well, it was a long night, to say the least. I think we're all a bit tired. I'm sure both teams, everybody let it all hang out. It was a great college basketball game.
I'm going to pick you up today, Coach. Don't worry about it.
I'm ready to go.
All right, let's look at some highlights of the ball game, and it was a terrific game. And, Kevin, the atmosphere was electric.
It was fantastic. I mean, great atmosphere, 2 rivals going at it. Everybody got there early and was ready to go.
And what about the early part of the game? You know, you do some good things, you get the crowd right into it.
Yeah, I mean, we were feeling each other out early. I think both teams started with good defense. We both struggled to score. And then once the kids got loose, the game really got exciting.
I thought you did a pretty good job on Darius Lane.
Well, we felt like we had to keep them out of the three-point shot. Boy, have they been shooting three-pointers well, and I think we did that well all night long.
Joel Salvi, he was just such a monster in this ball game. He's doing so many things well.
Yeah, what his senior year he's having for us. He's expanded his game to the point where he can score a bit more than he did last year, but the defense doesn't suffer. The rebounding and the hustle never suffers.
Here's a good play with Phillips, pushing the ball down the floor, stopping, and finding the J.
Yeah, we didn't get enough of that. We played very good defense, but got very little transition off that. You have to give Seton Hall credit.
Boy, this guy's dangerous. Remus Kaukanen.
Well, I love him. He's one of my favorite players in the league, and I think because he's so steady. I mean, he comes to play every night, and he just does what his team needs to do to win.
Kevin, there was an easy basket. Do you need to find ways to get more easy baskets?
Well, again, I take my hat off to Seton Hall. We played such good defense last night, and normally that would translate into some breakaways and some easy baskets, but we couldn't get them to turn it over as much as we would have liked.
Rashad Kent in this ball game with 10 points, and you got the big fella going.
Yeah, well, that was great seeing Rashad run the court like that, and there we had some transition, and Dante made a great pass.
Rutgers up at this point, 24-18. You got to feel good about your first half.
Yeah, I mean, we started as the half went on, we got more and more confidence, and our defense never suffered, and we were able to close out the half in a real nice run.
So the Scarlet Knights up at the break, 32-22. Back comes the Hall.
Well, they sure did. I mean, they came out in the second half, and everything about them took the next step. Much better defensively, and then offensively, unfortunately for us, they really got in the lane and wreaked havoc on us.
Dante Jones stops the bleeding, buries the J.
No, that was a big shot for us. I mean, it was getting away from us, and they did a great job of getting off to a good start, and we had some key baskets by Dante at that time.
And here's the Hall on an 11-2 run, and there's the guy, Darius Lane, with the three-point field goal. Now you're down 9, and you don't have that much time left.
No, that was big right there. We, coming back from 49-14, 40, I think, was a great statement by our team. I mean, that we were down and out right there, and the kids did a great job.
Greer hits that huge three, and the rack is just bubbling over.
Oh, the atmosphere, like I said, was as good as it's ever been in that building. And, you know, I give our guys credit. We had to execute some things out of some timeouts, and they did a super job right here. A little play. Joel Salvi nails the three. A huge shot for us.
Did you design that play for Salvi to take a three?
Yeah, well, we've talked about that. He shoots a lot better than people realize, and we've always felt like we could use him as a decoy.
Greer knocks down the three, ties the ball game at 54 all with 36 seconds left. Ty Shine misses. Holloway gets the rebound. He can't get it up, and Rutgers gets the basketball and a timeout, and now almost danger.
Yeah, well, this was not a great decision on Rashad's part. I mean, we wanted to throw that ball down court, and unfortunately, you know, that's what happened. But thank goodness, you know, they didn't make that shot.
Bottom line, Coach, you carried over from regulation into overtime, and you guys are on a real good run here. Salvi doing it on both ends of the floor.
We really started the half off, the overtime off strong. Salvi with the block shot, runs the court. We really had everything going our way right here, but unfortunately, a couple guys fouling out really, I think, changed the game around.
Rutgers goes up by 6 on the Kent layup. Are you thinking this game is won at this point, or no way, not against Seton Hall?
Well, I'm sure the players may have, but as a coach, it's never over, and you really respect your opponent, and certainly they, you know, they're a veteran team, and they made some big plays.
There's the big bucket by Shine, puts Seton Hall up by 1, 64-63. Tension continues to mount, and you're looking for a good shot here, and there's an offensive foul call.
Well, that was tough, but we got some young kids in the game at that point. Again, foul trouble really hurt us, and, you know, it was an aggressive play, and at least the kids made that.
Here's your last chance, Coach.
Yeah, well, we came in here. I thought, again, kids did a good job here. We're aggressive. We're trying to get into the lane and make a play. Todd Billett, I thought, made a very good decision, and Lou just got a good look. But he hasn't been in that position a whole lot, so you can't hold that against him.
So the final is 65-63 in overtime. Everyone left this building exhausted, but they saw a great game. And Kev, you know, atmosphere, intensity, rivalry, it all plays a factor. And I think everybody got their money's worth.
Well, I think if you were at that game, you have to look at that as one of the best games that I've ever been involved with. Even in defeat, it had a little bit of everything, and I thought the crowd was fantastic, and lots of runs and lots of big-time plays.
Good news for you. Next year, you get to do it twice instead of once in a given season.
Every year now we do it twice. I think it's great. It's great for the state, and it's certainly a good, healthy rivalry.
All right, we'll take a short break. Don't forget, later in the program, Mike Dabney, a Rutgers legend, will join us. But when we come back, we'll look back at another ball game from this past week against the Miami Hurricanes, and we'll look ahead to the week ahead. Stay with us.
This is a
Rutgers ball game against the Miami Hurricanes. And Kev, I think the story of this one, the offensive glass, which the Hurricanes dominated.
There's no question the difference in the game was their tenacity on the offensive glass. They did an unbelievable job of getting putbacks and just coming over the back and getting easy baskets. We played a very good game against a strong team, but the backboards wore us down.
And this kid, Johnny Hemsley, continues to excel for Miami, doesn't he?
He's one of the league's premier players, gotten a little bit better every year, really added range on his shot. He's a scrappy guy, tough guy to play.
Good move here by Salvi, spinning, and as you said, showing some offense people don't realize he has.
He really has a lot of confidence right now, and it's good to see. He's our senior, really the only senior that's out there for extended minutes, so it's good to see Joel playing at the highest level.
Coach, you're off to a solid start in this ball game. Greer getting the steal and the dunk here, and you're up 19-13.
I thought we usually start well. I mean, we played with confidence at home, doing all the right things, but this is a very, very good Miami basketball team.
And inside, Mario Bland punishing. They just love to feast on the glass.
Yeah. I mean, Mario Bland feels like he's been in the league about 6 years.
He has.
He's had some great minutes in a Miami uniform. What I like about him, he's just very consistent, very solid, tough player.
Tied at the half, all of a sudden, Miami puts it together early in the second. What went wrong for you?
Well, I don't know if it's so much what went wrong with us, but again, we're playing one of the premier teams in the league, and they can really defend, and I think offensively they just got a little more confidence.
And again, you fight back. Isn't it strange how these games have these ebbs and flows?
It's been a tough stretch for these guys, but I think our guys are very resilient, and you know, we're going to get over the hump. It's been painful, but we get right there, we're knocking on the door, we just can't get it open.
And Rutgers actually taking the lead here in the second half, so once again you're in the ball game, trying to make good decisions and good hustle down the stretch.
Well, the kids are all playing. I mean, I think, you know, to take Miami and Seton Hall and keep them in the 50s, you know you're playing some defense, you're doing some right things.
How tough is it when Hurricanes are going, you know, going to you, going to the glass and making you have to take that charge?
Well, that's the thing that hurts. I mean, there's a huge shot by Helmsley. Just, you know what? They start 3 seniors that play with an enormous amount of confidence, and I think that's where we're trying to be with our squad.
Coach had a chance to tie here.
Yeah, Todd Billett, you know, he did the right thing by the penetration, and then they just made a very good defensive play.
And Rutgers hanging in the ball game, but once again, coming up with the big play, it was Johnny Helmsley with the steal and the bucket that really sealed it.
Yeah, it's, like I say, a good Miami team, very difficult to matchups and a lot of experience on the court.
So the 25 offensive boards hurting the Scarlet Knights here. Miami wins the ball game. They've been playing extremely well. The final score is 58-52. Let's look at some of the outstanding players from this past couple of ball games for Rutgers. Jeff Greer scoring well.
Great to see him back, playing with a lot of confidence. He had a little tough stretch there, but he seems to be really back in shape.
Dante Jones, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, definitely. That's Dante's game, and I think he's been consistent as well.
And Joel Salvi, getting close to that double-double range almost every game.
When he gets minutes, he's productive, and the scoring has increased, which is good to see.
All right, so now Rutgers has to focus on playing Providence, and it's interesting when you get to this point and you've played a team before because, Coach, now you're going to play Providence a second time. You've got the film to look at, and you've got to find ways to just pick up and do things well as you did in the first game.
Well, definitely. It becomes a huge game for us. We feel like we played good basketball and didn't complete the last 2 games. And going up to Providence, a hungry team, desperately needing a win, it's going to be a war. We always go after each other real well. It's a very tough game.
Saturday at noon, Rutgers taking on the Friars. Rutgers won the first meeting, 71-61. That was on January the 12th. It's been a tough stretch for Tim Welch, but he's got David Murray, the kid from All Hallows, the JUCO transfer, and he did a good job against you in the first meeting.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he's a pretty skilled kid, and, you know, we really went out there trying to do a good job on Shabazz, and David Murray really showed some real nice post play.
Murray had 16 points in that first ball game. Aaron Maxey, 14 points, 8 rebounds, a 6'6" junior.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players in the league. You know, they're not winning a lot, but boy, he plays at a high level. He really brings it every night.
And here's him burying an outside shot. He's got some confidence from out there. Romeo Augustin, a 6'7" freshman from Youngstown, Ohio, home of Boom Boom Mancini.
Is that right? Well, I don't know about Boom Boom Mancini, but I know Romeo is a very, very good player and one of the best young players, I think, in the conference.
And Kareem Shabazz, you did a super defensive job on. No points, 6 rebounds in the first meeting. He's 7'2", but I thought your focus on him was very solid.
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job of taking him out of the game, and we'll see what we have to do. I mean, it's been a tough adjustment for him playing in the Big East, but he's a guy that is capable to go double-double at any night.
All right, after that ball game, it's the Albany Ball Club, the University at Albany, the Great Danes. They are now a Division I team. They're playing as an independent. And as we look at their ball club, Todd Setner is their leading scorer, averaging 15.5 per game.
Well, they're a team that's just gone Division I, and, you know, they're coming in here and nothing to lose. Good 3-point shooting team. I'm sure they're just going to let it all hang out and just, you know, have no fear. They have absolutely nothing to lose coming in the rack.
Matt Haggerty, over 1,000 points. He's got 1,036 for his career. He averages 3 threes per game.
Yeah, good shooting team, and, you know, we're going to have to match up and really take away that and see if they can beat us on the inside. 240
career threes for Haggerty. Will Bland, 11.3 points per ball game. He's been hot lately. The New England Collegiate Conference Rookie of the Year a year ago.
Well, they got some good young players, and like I said, they're adjusted to a new schedule and a new conference, and playing at the Division I level. So, you know, it's a game where we just have to come and play and get the Big East out of our heads and realize that every win's an important win at this time of year.
8.3 threes a game. That's dangerous. All right, let's talk about the keys for Coach Bannon for this ball game, and let's begin with the Providence Friars. Okay, Coach, take it away.
Well, we have to handle their pressure well. They're a team that both in the half and full court will really get after you, so take care of the basketball. Now, after that, we have to make sure that we do a good job on Shabazz. He's a guy, again, capable of a double-double on any given night. And the last thing is just bouncing back. I mean, you know, very tough losses. Our kids have to just come back and understand the importance of these victories and don't look back on the last few games.
All right, against Albany, 10-14 in the season. First of all, don't take them lightly, right?
Well, that's it. Show up and make sure that you understand a win is very important. Do a good job taking away their strength, which is three-point shooting.
All right, number 2 against Albany.
They play a lot of different defenses. Don't let them come into our house and show you all kinds of crazy defenses and get you on your heels. Be aggressive and make sure you adjust. And then just remain focused, as we just said. You know, the Big East schedule is difficult. And this could be a game where you come out, you're not thinking the right things. You got to get out there and play a basketball game.
I'll tell you, a win for Albany could basically make their season. For the Scarlet Knights, you just don't want to get into a situation, as Coach said, where you take them lightly and then you get in a little bit of trouble and you're scrambling to try to come up with a W. We'll take a short break. Mike Dabney will look back at the unforgettable season of 1975-76. Don't go away. He played for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. He was silky smooth. The images we remember, Mike Dabney gliding in for a layup. Mike Dabney, 1,902 points in his career for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, and he joins us on the Kevin Bannon Show, and it's a pleasure to see you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You're back on the East Coast, right?
Yes, I am. Been back for 3 years.
How's everything going?
Everything's going great, Bruce.
Do you get a chance to see the Scarlet Knights in person, and when you do you still get that churning feeling inside?
Oh, no question about
yeah.
it. You know, sometimes I wish I could get back out there in the court, but you know, they're doing fine. They have their challenges, but once again, they're paying their dues, like we paid our dues the first 2 years before we had a good team.
And what was the key to putting it together when you guys had that marvelous run in 75-76? Was it unselfishness?
Well, I think it was that, and also people sacrificed their own games. You have to have a sacrifice on everyone's part in order to do that. But, you know, we added a few key players, James Bailey, Hollis Copeland, Abdel Anderson, and everything came together.
Well, they were a special team. I mean, I remember Mike. In fact, I go back and see him play in high school. I was going to make him feel old. My dad used to referee Mike's games, and I used to go along and see all the games at East Orange. And but I think their team is a team, I said last week with Phil Sellers here, they could put themselves in this era right now and have the same kind of success. And I don't think a lot of teams from those past eras could do that. Their team could do it.
You know, it's funny because the game that I remember most, Kevin, is also a high school game. It was Dabney going up against Lou Grimsley, East Orange against Weequahic in the 72 ECT final at Walsh Auditorium. Mike, what happened? You lost that game, but you got some revenge later, didn't you?
That's very true. I got into foul trouble in that game. I had 4 fouls, and we just weren't ready to play. The game was canceled initially because of a snowstorm. We were ready to play that night. The next night, we just weren't ready to play. We ended up losing, but we did get revenge in the state championship, and we went on to win the state championship, finished #1 in New Jersey.
Now, back to Rutgers. You know, there were a lot of characters in that team that made this team work, really. I mean, you guys somehow found an interesting blend to get along, didn't you?
Yeah, that's so true. I think everyone saw the big picture. I think we realized what a good team we had my junior year. We beat some good teams. We lost to some good teams. And when I looked at the schedule for my senior year, because I was contemplating going hardship, I said we shouldn't lose any more than 1 game next year. And we had never won a Christmas tournament. And I think that was one of our goals and objectives, was to win a Christmas tournament. Rutgers had never, ever won a Christmas tournament.
James Bailey, he looked like a string bean when he first came up.
James was an integral part of our team. I think Coach Young started him probably the 2nd or 3rd game of the season. And he was one of the main keys why, you know, we were successful defensively. I mean, we averaged 93 points a game, and that's a lot of points in 40 minutes.
You were a guy from East Orange who decided to stay home. Do you hope that future kids, you know, make that commitment to Rutgers from the Garden State?
Oh, absolutely. And I have to give credit where credit is due. Dick Lloyd and Dick Vitale recruited us, Phil and myself. Phil was on his way to Notre Dame. I was on my way to Dayton. They hung in there. They stayed in there. They said, hey, you guys come to Rutgers, we're going to have a great team. And I think that's what a lot of athletes in New Jersey should do. They should take the time to look at Rutgers, look at the State University, because it's a great place to play. This arena is a great place.
Kevin, could you have used a guy such as Dabney who could do so many different things on the court, not just score? He was multidimensional.
Well, he has great talent. He could shoot the ball. He was a terrific slasher. And as you can tell, he was a great teammate, a very humble guy and mixed in well, had
added to the team chemistry. I got to ask you, though, do you wish you played in the rack, or are you glad you played in the barn?
Oh, this is a great place to play. This would have been wonderful to have sellouts here every year. I wish they had the dunk rule. That's what I wish.
I'm sure, because a lot of those layups would have been jams. Mike Dabney, I know you don't recognize him without that Joel Salvi, a little bit of a do on top, but great to see you. We wish you well.
Thank you very much, Bruce.
All right, we'll take a short break, come back with more, and look around the Big East when we return on the Kevin Bannon Show. $129 threes for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. Do you ever get in a situation, Kev, where you feel you're living and dying with the three too much, or you just try to include it as a part of your arsenal?
Well, I think we have a good three-point shooting team, and I think earlier in the year we made the mistake of getting in love with that a little bit too much, but I think lately we've played at a much higher level because we've gotten a nice balance of inside-outside.
Time for our Monster Slam of the week, and it's brought to you by MonsterSlam.com, the official online superstore for Rutgers merchandise. And guess what? Joel Salvi doesn't get honors this week, Kevin.
Well, it's good to see somebody else, especially this guy, because he was going through some tough times. And Jeff Greer, I said, hey, just play defense and be yourself, and the offense will come. And right there you see a good example. He gets a nice little steal here, and it becomes our Monster Slam of the week.
I love when he utilizes his quickness, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's his game. And, you know, when he's active and alert, his quickness will get him some monster slams. So hopefully we'll see a lot of that the next couple of weeks.
All right, you're really doing good with these advertisers, you know? It's time to get to the Big East action from this past week, and things are getting wild. There were a couple of upsets. Around the Big East is brought to you by New Jersey Transit. Saturday, St. John's had to play without Eric Barkley, who was suspended by the NCAA prior to the game. But the Red Storm survived. After building a 3-point lead late, BC's Troy Bell tied the game with 18 seconds left. Bootsy Thornton then hit 1 of 2 from the foul line, setting up a Troy Bell coast-to-coast run as time ran out. Would it go down? Bell, who had 26 in the day, goes around the rim and out, and therefore St. John's survives. Number 6 Michigan State hosted number 7 UConn, and the game ended early. MSU started off quickly and opened up a 29-point lead by the time the half rolled around. The Spartans had 4 players score in double figures to help Michigan State beat a ranked non-conference opponent at home for the first time since 1970. Watch out, MSU is good. On Monday, the Miami Hurricanes used an early first-half run and a smothering defense to knock off Georgetown. Johnny Hemsley had 17 points on 7 for 13 shooting, and the Canes defense held the Hoyas to just 27% from the field. They came away with a 77-55 win. Miami now 8-2 in the conference. The big story on Monday was at the Carrier Dome. Seton Hall handing the Orangemen their first loss of the season. Sophomore Darius Lane had 20 points, including some key shots down the stretch, and the eventual game-winning 3 with 39 seconds left. Syracuse had some cracks at the basket late, but couldn't convert. And the Hall holds on for the win. Seton Hall's 3rd win in 3 years at the Dome. Celebrate. Tuesday, the Band-Aid Brigade visited Providence. St. John, still without the services of suspended guard Eric Barkley, saw several players wear Band-Aids on their left cheeks as a sign of solidarity. Bootsy Thornton scored 19 points to lead the Red Storm to their 15th of the year and their 7th in the conference. And that's a look around the Big East, brought to you by New Jersey Transit. And a look at the standings, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. We're coming right back. Well, here we are at the end of the season, Kevin. What's your focus overall? Is it to win ball games? Is it to get into a tournament? Is it just to improve?
Well, it's all of those things, really. I mean, just play good basketball. If the wins take care of themselves, the tournaments take care of themselves. So just everybody take another step up. We're knocking on the door. We've really played some good basketball. We need more to show for it.
We've got some big names still left in that group.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of basketball to be played, really. I mean, you hear February and you think the end, but boy, you know, a lot of things are going to happen over the next couple of weeks.
Key is to get the guys to bounce back, forget about the last loss, correct?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
All right, Coach, good luck.
Thanks, Bruce.
I think your energy's been pretty good.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right, we'll see you next week on the Kevin Bannon Show.